Being Jewish was really just part of my life. Passover, Hanukkah was a big deal in our family because we'd spend the time in groups of 30, 40, 50 people. So they were kind of big milestones each year.
It was either Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah. Our 6th grade teacher made all of the Jewish kids stand up. I don't think she was so much that she was anti-Semitic. It was that she felt we were getting a day off and none of us knew what was going on, and none of us did. My nickname was AJ. That was Al the Jew.
In my opinion, Judaism in San Francisco was practiced very much indoors. It was not something that was, on the streets at all. At least for me, I was always very clear that being Jewish was one of the, absolute gifts of my life.
I grew up in housing projects outside of Boston. Half the people were Irish Catholic and half the people were French Canadian, and I was the only Jewish kid without a father, and so I was beaten up, buried in a hole and covered, and only because I have good lungs, after many hours, someone heard me, and so I had a negative Jewish experience. My Jewish journey is deeply personal, and a lot of those experiences brought me to where I am today.
When we moved into the first house that my parents owned, and I was 5 years old, I spoke Yiddish. We moved into a neighborhood where there weren't any Jewish families. I was very Jewish in the house, and Jewish dominated the house in a million and one different ways. And then I walked out into the world and was doing my best to be an American, but at every step along the way, clearly knew I was Jewish.
I think all citizens, religious or not religious, it really doesn't make any difference. You have a responsibility to give back to the society that you live in.
Being Jewish involves not only providing help to the needy, which is fundamental, and Jewish education, which is fundamental, but also nourishing the soul and the future.
The Jewish Community Foundation, I think, has been on the leading edge of every initiative in the Los Angeles Jewish community for as long as I can remember.
The work of the foundation really has to do with both honoring the past and building for the future.
The foundation was established by community leaders in the early 50s. There was a specific charge, as it were, that the foundation should have this money. It should make it available for creative and new grants to allow the community to grow, but it was very protective about not let the emergency of the day spend our endowment. I had the fun chore of suggesting that maybe it was time to move on and begin the process of hiring Marvin. And Marvin was our lucky hire.
Been lucky in the person that I chose to live my life with, who I met when I was a teenager, and we've been together ever since.
Marv's girlfriend's parents decided that she was with one person too often, and my boyfriend's parents decided the same thing. So Marv would pick me up, and my boyfriend would pick up his girlfriend. We would meet at a mall, like a mall, an outdoor mall, and we would switch. And I would go with my boyfriend, he would go with his girlfriend. And then eventually we just decided, you know what, this is too good. We really have a lot in common. I was only 15, Marv was 16. It was pretty amazing that we bonded at such a young age.
LA reached out to me, and they sort of found me in New Jersey, which is where we were.
It was the weekend of our son's bar mitzvah in New Jersey when the call came that they wanted Marv as the CEO, president of the Jewish Community Foundation in LA.
The field was evolving and helped the community develop a vision of what this foundation could be and what it could do.
Always wanted to move to LA, and I thought, great. And Marv saw this as an amazing challenge for him.
I had a lot of ideas, and I saw this work as a way to both express myself at every single level, from internally to professionally.
Marvin has been the leader here for 25 years, and it is no accident that over that 25-year period, there has been significant growth.
When I became chair, we had $80 million in endowment funds, and we have $900 million in assets now.
He really has always placed the interests of the Jewish community ahead of everything else.
I think Marvin knew where this could go and what it could be. And he and I have not always agreed on things, but he's had the good sense of what it took from the community to get us there.
Marvin's the right kind of leader. He's a very caring person, soft-spoken. He knows when and how to make decisions that allows people to thrive.
The truth is, I think that Marvin Schottland is the best kept secret in the Jewish world. The fact is that Marvin is a very direct, honest, real person working in this Jewish world. There aren't that many of them.
It's very clear to me that the values and the culture of the person become the values and culture of the organization.
We call him Mr. Foundation in our family.
He's gentle, he listens, he hears what I have to say, and then he helps me to resolve the problem.
There's no one thing you can say here. Here's an example of him being awesome. He's awesome all the time, and he's not paying me to say this.
We've worked with families to engage their children in the process of thinking through how to give dollars away philanthropically in a responsible and impactful way. That's quite exciting.
It's managing people's money and giving them the opportunity to give back.
One of the things that longevity brings is connectiveness that's deep.
How do you create meaningful entry points, and how do you meet people where they are?
People connect us at particular important moments in their life, and that's unlike anybody else. That's our business. That's what we do.
I remember my father calling people on the phone and telling them, you should do this with the foundation. You should do it. And he would give them all these reasons why they could do it, because he really believed in it. With the grandchildren, it's not just that they get together. It's not just that they learn how to work together. It's not just that they're giving money away, but they also have the benefit of something we never had. I like Jewish education. Tell me what interesting kinds of things are out there. Or this cutting-edge grant, program, and to be able to know what all these things are in one place.
I give a lot of credit to the Jewish Community Foundation for really helping our family get started in philanthropy and doing early childhood development work.
We're talking about very young children, infants and toddlers, basically, 0 to 3-year-olds, and giving them the start in life that's a little bit intellectual, but mostly it is social and emotional developments that you get in your first years of life that probably make the difference of a fulfilling life, a good life, or not.
Tikkun Olam means making this a better place. I think the foundation provided us a structure. They had the passion. That passion is contagious. They were very welcoming to our family. We have a responsibility to make this a better place.
My mom was very active in Jewish family service. There's a lot of good things we've done, but the most important thing for me was there were a couple of times when JFS came to the foundation for grants, and my mom was on the other side of the table. To be able to help Jewish family service and carry out its mission, which was something that was really important to my mom, that's probably the most meaningful thing that I did.
I think one place where we made an enormous impact was post 2008, or during 2008, when the country was really in economic doldrums, and there was huge need in the Jewish community for assistance in places that had never required it before.
We realized that we needed to try and do something not only in terms of trying to help the foundation itself recover from this trauma, but also helping members of the community to find a way to make it through.
The foundation, in a very significant way, stepped up and said, look, we've got to help people that are really hurting all across society in all different ways.
We've been very responsive to all the needs of our community. When special things like that happen and we needed to do things, we would direct it in the right direction to help out with the events that were going on here in Los Angeles.
This place, Los Angeles, there are just unbelievably wonderful, creative people in the Jewish community, not in the Jewish community, and there's Things are always bubbling here.
When I think about where the foundation was when I came on and I look at where we are today, almost 20 years later, it's almost mind-boggling that we've managed to continue to grow, continue to innovate, continue to find new ways to serve the community and new ways to help our donors with their own philanthropy to help it become more impactful.
The foundation is an important part of society, Jewish society and general society. And I think that its power is that it can now lead as well as follow.
It can help every community organization through the endowment process.
From the beginning, the foundation believed in Stand With Us. It's very exciting when you identify a problem and then you identify the solution and then you have a partner.
It's great to be able to be a catalyst for new and innovative projects in the community.
We don't want to stay in place. We want to take what we got, make it better, and have the next generation make it better yet again.
It's hard to think back, but I can think forward. I see it with my children and my grandchildren and how they're living the life. Nobody has to teach them.
They've empowered members of the family who would have loved to have known each other and worked together. They've allowed that opportunity to just be nurtured.
As much as it's about the past and knowing where we come from and knowing our story, it's really about building a better place, for not just my child, but for children.
Once you have kids, you get it. My father's planting for me, and so too will I plant for my children.
It'll keep going, and what they've learned will keep going, and we'll continue to support the Jewish community. I feel very confident of that.
We embrace the community, and the community embraces us. We embrace donors in the community, and they embrace us. And together, we figure out how to make this place and how to make this world better.
To do new things, different things, it evolves, it grows. That's why I'm very optimistic about the future for us and for our philanthropy, because I think it's just going to get better.
We're going to stay here, we're not going away, and we will get bigger and be able to keep doing this.
The future is great for the foundation.